There's a place outside my hometown that no one visits anymore. A place the maps forgot and the trees have started to reclaim. Locals call it the Quarry, but it's not just an old pit filled with rainwater and ghosts of industry. They say there are lights there, deep under the surface, lanterns that glow without fire, shapes that move without breath. And if you ever see one rise to the surface, it's already too late, because that means they've seen you too. I used to think it was just one of those stories, until the night I saw the lights myself, and I learned that some things buried underground never stop looking for company.
This happened 6 years ago, the summer before college. My cousin Alex and I decided to spend one last weekend away from everything. No phones, no noise, no city. Alex was the adventurous one, the kind who thought broken bones made good stories. He'd heard about an abandoned quarry deep in the forest, the kind of place kids dared each other to visit and adults pretended didn't exist. He said the water was clear, the cliffs perfect for diving, and best of all, nobody else went there. To him, that meant peace and quiet. To me, that meant isolation and no cell signal. But I went anyway. We drove for hours, past empty farms and shuttered gas stations, until the road turned to dirt. The trees grew so dense, they scraped the sides of the car. When the forest finally opened up, the quarry appeared, a vast scar in the earth, its water black and perfectly still.
We drove for hours, past empty farms and shuttered gas stations, until the road turned to dirt. The trees grew so dense they scraped the sides of the car. When the forest finally opened up, the quarry appeared, a vast scar in the earth, its water black and perfectly still, even from above. It looked wrong. The air felt heavier, like the place was holding its breath. We set up camp on the ridge overlooking the water. The rocks were cold even under the sun. Alex laughed it off, but I caught him glancing at the water more than once, like something down there was staring back. That night, after the fire burned low, Alex pulled out a bottle of cheap whiskey and told me the story locals used to tell. He said miners had died here, dozens of them, when a shaft collapsed in the 1940s. The company sealed the site, filled the pit with water, and left the bodies where they fell. A few years later, teenagers who trespassed claimed to see lanterns burning beneath the surface. Some said it was swamp gas. Others said it was the miners, still working, still searching for a way out. I laughed, but I didn't sleep. Even with my eyes closed, I swear I saw flickers of orange dancing against the tent walls like firelight. But we'd already put the fire out. By morning, the quarry didn't look as menacing. The sunlight poured across the water like melted glass, and for a few hours, I convinced myself I'd imagined everything. We spent the day hiking the perimeter. The place was huge, an enormous bowl of jagged stone. Every step kicked loose pebbles that tumbled into the abyss, never making a sound when they hit the water. Alex kept stopping to peer over the edge. Crazy, right? He said. You can't even see the bottom. He tossed another rock. We waited for the splash. It never came. That's when I realized something strange. The air above the quarry was silent. No birds, no wind. Even the insects stayed away. We found an old path winding down the cliff. Rusted rails, a staircase half swallowed by roots. Signs still clung to the fence, their letters eaten by rust. Keep out, danger of collapse. Alex grinned. Guess that means we're going in. I wanted to argue, but the thought of him going alone was worse. So we descended. Halfway down, I saw scratches carved into the stone wall. Help US. Fresh, white, as if someone had just etched them with a knife. When we finally reached the bottom, the air was cold and thick with mist. Our breaths came out like smoke. The water was so dark it reflected nothing, a mirror without light. And in that mirror, I thought I saw faces, not clear ones, blurred silhouettes just beneath the surface, floating upside down. Do you see that? I whispered. Alex nodded slowly. Then he stepped closer. The moment his boot touched the water, it rippled with a low hum, like something alive was breathing underneath. A bubble rose, then another, then a hand, pale, bloated, fingers split from the cold, breaking the surface for just a second before sliding back down. Alex stumbled back, swearing. We both ran up the slope as fast as we could, rocks cutting our hands. When we reached the top, we didn't speak. We just sat there, listening. The air was quiet again, too quiet. That night, neither of us could sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard that hum under the water, like a heartbeat that wasn't mine. Around midnight, I woke to a sound that froze my blood, splashing. At first, I thought it was rain, but the sky was clear. Then I realized the sound was rhythmic, steady, and too close. I unzipped the tent and peeked out. Down at the water's edge, 5 or 6 lanterns were glowing beneath the surface, moving slowly in a circle. Alex was already awake, eyes wide. "Do you see it too?" he whispered. We watched as one of the lanterns rose, breaking the surface without a sound. Inside the glass was no flame, just a sphere of orange light, pulsing like a heartbeat. Then a shadow emerged behind it, a figure, dripping wet, face hidden by mud, clutching the lantern with brittle fingers, its head tilted toward us. And then another figure appeared, and another. Soon there were dozens, standing knee-deep in the black water, their lanterns burning from inside their chests. We backed away, slowly, terrified that any movement would draw them closer. But it was already too late. The closest one raised its arm and pointed directly at us. The rest followed, a forest of rotting hands stretching toward the ridge. Then they began to walk, not swim, walk, up the rock face, feet dragging through stone as if gravity had forgotten them. Then they began to walk, not swim, walk, up the rock face, feet dragging through stone as if gravity had forgotten them. Alex grabbed my arm. "Run!" We bolted through the trees, branches whipping our faces, the lantern lights flickering behind us like fireflies from hell. Halfway through the woods, Alex tripped. When I turned to help him, one of the figures was already there, reaching for him. Its hand touched his shoulder. The light in its chest flared and sank into him like breath. He screamed, and for a moment, I swore I saw another light ignite inside his ribs. I pulled him away, half carrying him, until we stumbled back to the car. When we slammed the doors shut, every light outside vanished. Just darkness, and the sound of Alex breathing too fast. We drove until the sky turned gray. Alex didn't speak. He just stared out the window, hands clutching his chest. When we finally stopped for gas, I noticed something under his shirt, a faint orange glow spreading beneath his skin. "Alex," I said, "you're bleeding." He looked at me and whispered, "I think they followed me." That was the last thing he said before collapsing. He was alive when the paramedics arrived, but his pulse was irregular, too slow, too deep. By the time we reached the hospital, his skin was cold. They pronounced him dead at 7:42 a.m. A week later, I went back. I don't know why. Guilt, maybe. The quarry was the same, silent, empty, endless. I stood at the edge and called his name. The doctors couldn't explain the burn marks over his heart, a perfect circle the size of a lantern's glass. The water answered with light. A single lantern rose to the surface and floated toward me, pulsing softly, 1 beat, then 2, exactly like a heartbeat. I swear I heard his voice, faint and distant, "Come down. It's beautiful here." The glow reflected in my eyes like fire. For a moment, I almost stepped forward. Then something cold brushed my ankle, a hand. Just beneath the surface I ran. I never went back. But sometimes when I close my eyes at night, I see orange light under the skin of my hands, and I hear that hum again, slow, patient, waiting. They filled that quarry for a reason, to keep what's beneath it quiet. But water never forgets the bodies it covers, and every few years, someone like us wanders too close. If you ever camp by a lake that has no fish, no birds, no sound at all, look for the light. If you see it flicker under the surface, whatever you do, don't let it see you.